In this two-part video series, I'm going to talk to you about the 21 worst upgrades you can do to your classic car and why the upgrades are bad ideas. But first, buying the right car is where it starts. Comment, send me the checklist below, and I'll send you my free classic car buying guide and checklist so you can protect yourself from the costly pitfalls of buying a classic car. The first bad upgrade I see people do all the time is rear disc brakes. They think they need them. They don't. If they want them, fine. The problem I've got is unless you buy a quality set like these Bears or some Willwoods, there's no emergency brake, no parking brake. So if you've got a stick shift, your car's gonna roll away. Totally useless. You have no emergency brake if you ever need to stop. It's just a bad idea for the average guy. If you've got a race car and you're gonna use it hard, something like this, go ahead and get a badass set of rear brakes. Otherwise, don't think that a big set of brakes is gonna stop your car much better. Another really bad upgrade is to cut your exhaust or just simply run your exhaust where it dumps out underneath the car right before the rear end. It's a lot less expensive. I can actually see fumes coming out here. What sucks is all of this fumage comes out right underneath the car, so it comes inside. It stinks. It echoes around. It's hella loud and obnoxious. And unless you have tailpipes, you don't even get a tuned sound out of the car. I also think any tips like this that are pointing down towards the ground, they just blow stuff all over the car. This is a black car. If I'm at a car show and you're driving up on me, I'm pissed because you got me dirty. And if this is my own black car, I'm pissed because I'm detailing all the time. A lot of people choose to stuff fat wheels under their cars, which works in terms of a custom look and making the car your own. The problem is that oftentimes we result in tire rub, reduced braking, minimized ride quality, and lack of performance that's lost due to the extra weight. Another dangerous product in my mind is a flex fan. They're a cheap way to move airflow to keep your car cool. Caution, these are sharp. These blades are so damn sharp. If you reach in here while the engine's running or you're working on it trying to do something, it's so easy to fillet yourself. How many times have I been cut by these things? If I could, I'd strongly recommend you do like a fan with a clutch on it. They're not sharp, they move more air. These can rev to higher RPM than these. These things can break and fly off. Just don't do it if you don't have to. Spend the money and get something good. I don't know why everybody thinks they need an MSD box. In my opinion, for most of you, it's a total waste of money. Everybody goes there first. I don't know why if you have a stock engine, you would spend the money on this. It's just not worth it until you get to the point where you've got something that spins higher RPMs and needs it. If you have no ignition system, you're starting from scratch, maybe. But again, I just don't think most people need it. It should be last, not first on a basic engine. Another bad upgrade I see people do is too much stereo equipment. This thing slumps. I love stereo systems, but there's a way to do it better. This thing is so heavy. The 67 Camaro used to drive great. Now it's heavy in the back. It swings around all awkward and handles crappy, and as a result, we're putting even a way bigger engine to compensate for the power. The car slowed down with all this stuff in here. There's a way to do it cleaner. Unless you're like a competition audio guy, there's no need to have all that stuff and all that weight back there. This is a really nice show car. It's got its amps, it's got a couple of hidden subs, and it's not heavy. Keep in mind, lighter is better. You don't want that car all over the road. Another major no-no is air ride. So many problems come with air ride systems. Look at this thing. You walk out and it's just laying down in the front. They're just not reliable at all. Too much work, if you know what I'm saying. Another problem with air ride systems, as they're losing air, the air tank's coming on. Every time I turn the key on, I don't want to hear all this noise. It's too much. Starting with the right car is the first step to ensuring you get the most out of your classic car. Don't miss the red flags. Get my free classic car purchase inspection checklist and buying guide linked below. On the air ride topic, I just don't feel that they have the right travel on muscle cars to really get the right ride quality you can out of an air ride system. The arm travel is just too short to get a good ride. Secondly, this thing always tends to drop down just a little bit, and it's already worn out the chrome trim and grabbed the fender a few times. I see that on a lot of cars. Worst off, look how low the car is on the ground right now. Looks wicked, right? I had a lady call me one time. She was on her way to Hot August Nights in a badass Cadillac. She couldn't get a tow from the side of the road. She was stuck laying frame. No tow truck can pick you up when you're laying frame. We had to send somebody out with a bunch of tools and a bunch of air ride parts to meet her on the side of the road 50 miles from here. She wasn't even our customer. Don't get yourself stuck in that predicament. Another bad upgrade is often carburetor selection. People love to go too big. Upgrading this little guy from a 2-barrel to a 4-barrel, I'm not gonna go to a giant Holley double pump or 750. It's just bad. It's gonna be too much fuel. It's gonna flood the engine out. It's gonna smoke. It's gonna not run right. It's not worth it. Pick the right carburetor and you're gonna be happier. Another upgrade that often causes problems is people will redo their fuel system and they go too small. Size does matter. You don't want a puny line. You need to have enough line to flow enough volume to support your horsepower and your engine. So be cognizant of size of fuel line and where you're routing it. Otherwise, you're going to lean out, and lean will kill your engine. Any V8 engine running 300 horsepower or more should have at least a 3/8 fuel line or a 6AN equivalent of 3/8 internal diameter. If you're running less horsepower, 200, like in an old school Mustang, 5/16 is okay, but really it's too small. Anytime you do a line, go at least 3/8, and then if you get north of 600 horsepower, go 1/2 inch dash AN, don't lean that thing out. Another bad upgrade I see people do, oftentimes to get traction, especially at the track, they'll remove their front sway bar, and they think, yeah, it's gonna give torque transfer, but now all of a sudden the car's all over the road. If you wanna have a car drive nice on the street, or even at the track, get a nice front sway bar. These things, larger diameter is going to really improve the way it rides and drives. So consider running a sway bar. Every car should have a front sway bar. Don't forget it. Next up on worst upgrades is a spool or welding your gears. A lot of people are going to try to get a cheap posi and they'll either weld the gears together to get posi traction or they'll use a spool which locks the two shafts together. Consider getting a traditional type posi. A regular posi like this has clutches and it's going to allow smooth operation. Another problem people do is they go with a track lock. They're phenomenal for performance cars, but I get complaints all the time that it's clicking when it's locking. You get a rear and it's going clunk, clunk, sounds like it's shot. Also, a spool keeps your wheels locked up at all times, so every time you're making a turn, you get a or you might spin out extra easy. Wrap your car around a telephone pole, you won't want to spool anymore. Buying the right car is the first step to ensuring you get the most out of your classic car, whether you plan to restore it or restomod it. Get my free classic car purchase inspection checklist and buying guide linked below. Another awful mistake people make, in my opinion, is to run 456 gears or numerically high gear, which is called a low gear, because you got low range on the freeway. You can barely get on the freeway. You're revving as super high as you can just to go like as fast as your average Prius. You're getting on the freeway, people are passing you, it doesn't feel safe to me. Plus, you don't get any kind of gas mileage whatsoever. So if you want to be fast block to block, that's great. Unless you're going to add like an overdrive transmission or something, stay away from these high numerical number gears. Look for the second part of this series coming soon, where I'll show you even more bad decisions I see installed in people's classic cars.